This episode goes out to Rihanna in Fontana. No relation, I think. Hi there, Garrett Robinson here. Welcome to the 13th episode of the Nightblade Epic Podcast Season 2. Big announcement today, listener. We're running a free promotion on Bloodlust, one of the most beloved books of Underrealm. Today and tomorrow only, you can get the whole book for free on Amazon. Bloodlust is part of the Tales of the Wanderer, the third series of Underrealm novels. They've quickly become the favorite books of a ton of our readers. Bloodlust tells the story of Mag, known to some as the Wanderer or the Uncut Lady, and some of the deeds she performed that led to her becoming such a legendary figure across Underrealm. It's hard to say too much more about the series without some major spoilers for the Nightblade epic, so I'll leave it there. Suffice it to say that you are going to love Bloodlust and the rest of the books in the Tales of the Wanderer series. You can pick up your free Kindle copy on Amazon. But the free promotion ends tomorrow, so don't wait. Go pick it up now. Okay, now it's time for today's episode. Today, you're getting Chapter 17 of Mystic. When we left off, Lauren and her friends had just met the mysterious creature Bubble, who promised to help them enter the city of Wellmont. Enjoy! Mystic, Chapter 17. Before they could follow Bubble, Brimlad told them he meant to depart. They all protested, Zane Mayup more ardently than Annis or Lauren, but the captain was adamant. "I have no use for words, and I think you are fools to trifle with them," he declared. "Though times are strange, and who knows, Mayup the little beast can get you into the city after all. But my journey is over. I will not let my boat sit and rot here on the shore, and I would have precious little to do within the city besides. I must return to my trade." "How will you return to Redbrook?" said Zane. "The Mystic and her ship lie along the way." "Yes, but marooned," said Brimlad. "What will they do if I pass them by? The river is more than wide enough to keep me safe from arrows. Besides, they have likely moved on by now. The Mystic girl does not seem the sort to give up a chase easily." "What will you do for food?" said Zane. "At least come with us to get provisions." "I will take those 2 fish the Wirt gave you for starters," said Brimlad gruffly, "and I shall consider it cheap fare for this journey, which has been fraught with far more peril than you told me." Zane gave him the fish without hesitation, and Lauren gently asked Bubble if he would mind fetching some more. In less than an hour, the Wirt had caught more than a dozen. They cooked one on the spot to sate the strongest pangs of their hunger, kept another for later, and gave the rest to Brimlad. Just as noon passed, they sent the captain off and wished him safe voyage down the river. Jem waved hardest and did not stop until the captain had nearly vanished from sight. Annis seemed less sorry to see him go. "I think he was mean," she said, glancing over at Bubble, "and I am glad he is gone." "He risked his life for us, and his ship, which he values even more highly," said Zane in a voice of quiet steel. "If he did not laugh and sing bawdy songs all the while, remember that he was a simple tradesman before he met us. And if he has no love for Wirtz, remember that you have not lived his life." Annis folded her arms. "Still, Bubble brought us food. Brimlad had no call to be so rude, and I think he is wrong about Wirtz. Just look at the creature. He could offer no real harm, even if he did lighten a fisherman's load every so often." Lauren saw Zane's nostrils flare, and she spoke before disagreement became argument. "In any case, it is over and done. I am sure we are all grateful to the captain for helping us reach Wellmont. Now we must look to our next step." Bubble had waited for them to see Brimlad off, lurking in the shallows upstream. Now, as they approached, the Wirt stood and pointed. Half a league upriver, Lauren saw another waterway split off. The smaller stream poured down from the faraway mountains, lending its strength to the dragon's tail.
"That way is Bubbles' home," said the wort. "There live Bubbles' people. We will not go to them. They are afraid of men. But we will come close, and there you will wait while Bubble makes ready to take you into the city of men."
They began their slow trek along the riverbank, Bubble swimming effortlessly through the water beside them. The wort moved without leaving a ripple. Often he would swim far ahead of them, only to double back like a dog leading its master. Sometimes he would swim on his back, letting the scales of his clothing glisten in the sun. Other times he would swim face down, and then Lauren saw that the back of his shirt and breeches were not scales, but a brown material that looked like leather. When she remarked upon it to Zane, the wizard looked as though she had distracted him from a distant dream. When she repeated herself, he nodded. "The scales gleam even in very little light. When fish see the wort from below, they think his scales are part of the sky. The leather upon his back, however, looks like dirt from above. In this way, the worts hide themselves from both hunters and prey." "You know of these creatures, then?" said Jem in surprise. "They are not creatures," said Annis. Jem gave a contemptuous shrug. "We are all creatures." "I have heard only stories," said Zane. "Some from Brimlad. Those are less than pleasant. But many others have I heard from sailors and rivermen, and not all view the worts with such distrust. It is true, though, that the creatures are not allowed within cities, not in Selvin at least." "Do they live in all the 9 lands?" said Annis. "Many, but not all," said Zane. "Hedgemond lies too far south, and many of its rivers are covered in ice. But in the north the worts are plentiful, for the water is warm and the air is warmer. They do not love the cold, apart from the cool of deep waters near the riverbed. Nor do they love the ocean, for they cannot breathe the salt water." "Breathe water?" said Jem. "I do not understand. Is this some kind of magic?" "If so, it has been a part of them for years beyond counting. They do not enchant themselves, for they do not have wizards among their number." Soon they reached the place where the tributary joined the river, and Bubble led them up it. The land grew quiet and wooded, and behind the trees they lost sight of the smoky cloud that darkened the southern horizon. That made their steps lighter and their hearts less heavy. Soon, Annis and Jem began speaking animatedly, asking Zane one question after another, all about the worts. The wizard did not have many more answers, and he swiftly grew irritated. Lauren watched him with unease. Zane had begun to use his right hand to pick at his opposite elbow, a nervous tic she had never seen in him before. His cheeks were gaunt as ever, and his eyes seemed to grow more sunken every day. "He will recover with rest and food," Lauren told herself, but a shadow covered her heart, and she could not banish it. After a time, Bubble emerged from the stream and bade them to stop. "You will wait here. Bubble will fetch one to help make things ready. Wait." He returned to the water and vanished from sight. The day was pleasant in the shade beneath the trees, and they stood on a soft grassy knoll, so they cast themselves upon the ground to await the wort's return. Lauren cleaned their second fish. They had suffered many long days of starvation, and the first had been eaten in little more than a blink. "I hope Bubble will keep fetching us fish." Jem crossed his legs at the ankles and folded his hands beneath his head, looking at ease for the first time in days. "He is not your trained hound," said Lauren. "Treat him with respect. Without his help, we will never enter the city's gate, and we might well starve." "Why do you suppose he wishes to help us, in any case?" he said, ignoring Lauren. "He could have left us sitting on that riverbank and spared himself Brimlad's ire." "Kind hearts and willing hands may be found in all the 9 lands," said Zane, almost to himself, "and often in the unlikeliest of places." It had the sound of wisdom, and Lauren looked at him with interest, but Zane stared off into the darkness beneath the trees, his right hand plucked at the other elbow. Pick, pick. Lauren thought they might have to wait a while for Bubble to return, but it was not long before a slight splash marked his presence. He was not alone. From the water beside him emerged a second wort. This one looked almost the same as Bubble, but half a hand shorter. The new wort stared at them with eyes unblinking, and he did not follow Bubble up the riverbank towards them.
"Bubble has brought his brother, Stream,"
said Bubble.
"Stream does not speak with men or know your words."
"Hello," said Lauren, inclining her head towards the wort. "Can you tell him we are thankful for his help?" Bubble turned, and from his mouth issued a series of high melodic whines. They hung on the air, haunting and beautiful, with slight sibilants scattered among the sounds. Stream blinked his curious wort blink, and then turned to look at Lauren. He did not say anything in reply. "What is your plan, then, wort?" said Zane, standing to come beside Lauren. But at the wizard's motion, Bubble crouched on all fours and leaped back, looking like nothing so much as a frog. Stream flung himself back into the river, where in a moment his eyes popped above the surface to observe. "It is all right," said Lauren, her voice a soothing murmur. "He means you no harm. Please do not be frightened."
"This one is large," said Bubble.
In fact, Lauren was as tall as the wizard, though Zane had more bulk. "What is our plan?" she asked, hoping to bring the wort's mind back to the matter at hand. Once he seemed convinced Zane would come no closer, Bubble straightened. Stream's head emerged from the water, but he did not approach.
"Bubble will go to the river gate. You will need air to pass beneath it. Bubble can give it to you. He can build a—"
The wort thought for a moment, film flashing across his eyes as he blinked.
"I do not know your word, but it will let you swim far in the water."
"Can we help?" said Lauren. "I have some skill with handcrafts." Bubble shook his head.
"You do not know this making. Bubble will take Stream there to show him, and then return to watch you. It would not be well for other worts to find you without Bubble here."
"I understand," said Lauren, though she did not see the danger in meeting more worts. They seemed a harmless folk. "Again, we thank you."
"Indeed, you are more than kind," said Jem, jumping to his feet. "Do you often swim up and down the river, searching for wandering strangers to aid?"
Rather than answer, Bubble blinked at the boy. Then the wort sidled up to Jem and placed a wide, webbed hand on his belly.
"You have not eaten the fish?"
"He has had his share, and more besides," said Annis. "I do not know where it all goes, for he is still skinny as a spar." Bubble looked at her with interest.
"But you are not. Why is this?"
Annis looked at Lauren, confused. Lauren said, "Annis has never wanted for food. Her family has the wealth to eat as much as they wish. Jem was raised in hardship and often went hungry."
"His family does not feed him?"
Bubble said the words slowly, as though piecing each together in his mind.
"I have no family," said Jem. "My parents are dead or lost to me." "Family, clan, others," said Bubble. "The others who see you, these ones." He pointed at Lauren and Zane. "Why do they not feed you?"
Lauren felt perilously close to a fence, as though they had broken some wort law they knew nothing of. "We only just met the boy. We have done the best we could since our paths crossed."
"Before you, then,"
said Bubble, and now his voice was insistent.
"Why did others not feed him?"
Lauren looked at Zane, who seemed to know more about the worts than any of them, but the wizard only shrugged. "He has no kin," she said helplessly. "Few would take in an orphan boy."
"But he was hungry,"
said Bubble.
"Often, yes,"
said Jem cheerily.
"But they did not feed him."
Bubble pondered this, looking back to his brother.
This is a great evil. I did not know humans were so cruel."
Anis sniffed and folded her arms.
"It is not cruelty. Only one cannot go around feeding every poor and starving orphan in the 9 lands. There is not enough food, for one thing. There are always fish. Bubble will go now and build your heir. Feed the sick child."
He turned and leaped into the river. Stream slipped into the current beside him. Jem stared after them, flabbergasted.
"I am not sick." "You could be," said Lauren. "Look at you. You are more bone than meat."
"And it has brought us the Wirt's help when our journey seemed hopeless," said Zane. "Be thankful for that. Sometimes a frail look can be a distinct advantage." His eyes stayed on Anis for a moment, and his right hand stole to his elbow. Pick, pick. This has been a production of Legacy Books, written and narrated by Garrett Robinson. The music in this podcast was created by Will Musser. Check out his incredible work at willmusser.com. That's WILLMUSSER.com. Today's letter is E. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.